Heavenly Delusion began with the first episode showing a group of kids dressed in uniforms playing in a forest-filled field. The atmosphere was calm, and one could see children engaged in a variety of activities. Later, they went into a classroom where a robot was instructing the students and a touchscreen tablet was being used for the test. A minor error on one of the students' tablets caused an unrelated question to appear. The question that it posed to the student was, would she like to go outside and explore? Caused her to become perplexed. The scene transitioned to two characters who were traveling through a ghost town hoping to visit a place they know as heaven. There were few to no resources, weeds and creepers sprouted in strange places, and every house was broken. Kiruko and Maru made an effort to scavenge for supplies but were unsuccessful. Later on, they were ambushed by a group of thugs. But they were able to put an end to the situation very quickly. At this point, the audience was aware that Maru possessed considerable talent in the areas of combat and martial arts. Kiruko also created a gun that fired a beam of heat that melted a street lamp pole. Maru and Kiruko happened to come across an inn and paid the owner a small fee to stay there. The duo indulged in a hot shower and a wonderful pork-based stew that the owner had cooked. It was later revealed that the place was being visited by a monster. Kiruko stated that she was interested in vanquishing the monster and killing it if necessary. The owner hesitated and clutched her blade tightly out of fear. Maru, being someone who doesn't sleep easily, ended up sleeping quite early. Kiruko was feeling strange and was going unconscious. Moments later, the owner loaded her double-barreled shotgun when the monster flew towards her. The scene transitioned back to the facility. Tokyo was unable to sleep and was seen wandering around at night after being asked a peculiar question during the exam. The director of the facility was awake as well, as were her staff. Tokyo posed the same question to the director, and she revealed the truth despite being advised not to. She revealed that there indeed was an outside, but it was hell, where abhorrent monsters lurked in the dark. In the second episode of Heavenly Delusion, Tokyo is seen conversing with Torao, who is in a wheelchair, and expressing his views on a world that exists outside of those walls. Upon questioning, Tokyo confesses to Torao that he likes mimihime. Torao, on the other hand, winces in pain as the camera zooms in on his hand, which has strange purple-colored marks on it. As a result of this, Tokyo has a temper tantrum after realizing that Koku has received Kona's drawing. Uncertain of her motivations, Mimihime sends Shiro a graphic image of herself. Wow. After that, we see Maru and Kiruko waking up from their slumber. After being unconscious, the duo realizes that their food is mixed with something that knocks them out. They came across the innkeeper and assured her that they would be able to defeat the monster by verbally demonstrating their fighting prowess. Together, Kiruko and Maru are effective.
なんだ今
何か投げてみて。
オッケー。何かチラチラ鳴き声じゃない。ムチみたいなものを振り回してる音だ。
But just as Kiruko is about to fire her gun, the innkeeper steps in, forcing her to miss her target and revealing that the monster is actually her son, who has been goading her the entire time. The two draw the conclusion that this is the real motivation for running the inn. The innkeeper feeds the guests to the monster that she thinks is her son, but the monster eventually kills her.
この人たちも分かってくれたから。
できてる。
ね。
After this, we see Maru avoiding the attacks of the monster. placing his hand on its body. Because he possesses a unique talent that allows him to kill cannibals, a current of energy takes the form of his hands and enters the interior of the monster, destroying the heart. During a conversation with Kiruko, Maru states his true goal about reaching heaven. He has a special case with an injection inside of it that contains a drug, and he is supposed to inject the drug into a person who is a lookalike for him. After that, a new character by the name of Mikura is presented in the episode. Kiruko recalls her final interaction with Mikura, who offers the gun she is carrying and requests that Kiruko use it to save Maru. Kiruko informs Maru that Mikura has given her the order to take him to heaven. We then see the duo come across a village that is self-sufficient and dependent on the food that they grow for themselves. At first, they wonder if this is heaven, but they aren't able to find Maru's doppelganger. The duo then comes across a box that has a stamp matching the insignia carved on Kiruko's gun. They then decide to head back to Tokyo on a ship in search of heaven. After this, Maru confesses his feelings for Kiruko, but she seems to have rejected him. He apologizes for forcing himself on her, to which she replies by saying that although her body is that of a woman, she is a man in her mind. The episode concludes with Kiruko declaring that she is, in fact, a man. In the third episode of Heavenly Delusion, there was a flashback that showed a character by the name of Haruki being bullied by thugs, just as he was about to be killed by one of them. Robin and Izaki saved him in the nick of time. This is the same man that was seen in the picture that Kiruko showed the innkeeper. The scene focuses on Kiruko, who was in the same orphanage that Robin and Haruki were from. She was a well-known kart racer who was adored by her followers. She was accompanied by a man of strong build, whom they addressed as Doctor or Master. One of Haruki's other friends had cautioned him that the aforementioned individual was performing experiments on monsters and on human beings as well. Kiruko was always referred to by Haruki as his sis, and the two of them shared a strong bond. The following day, Haruki climbed onto a vantage point to view his sister's race. However, he saw a man-eating creature that was camouflaged on the trail. He pursued the man-eater and attempted to neutralize it. The racer proceeded as normal. No one was aware of the presence of the creature. However, Kiruko and her competitors reached the arcade where the man-eater was present. The next thing she saw was the body of Haruki being eaten by the man-eater. Her instincts took over and she rushed to the scene immediately. When she removed Haruki's body from the creature's mouth, she was shocked to discover that his entire lower body and his limbs had been devoured. Even so, Haruki's chances of survival were extremely low. A gunshot was then heard, and the next thing Haruki remembered was waking up in a hospital. He was stumbling around when he found himself in front of a mirror. When he looked, he was shocked to see himself in Kiruko's body. He asked about the doctor who had treated him but was now missing from the town. The stitches around his skull were a clear indication that the doctor had fit Haruki's brain inside Kiruko's head. The next couple of weeks went by as Haruki attempted to make peace with the situation. He couldn't find Robin in Ozaki or any other children from the orphanage. Haruki, who is now Kiruko, resolved to take on odd jobs in the hopes of finding Robin. This is how she came into contact with the people who requested that she be Maru's bodyguard. Maru now realized that it was Haruki who was in Kiruko's body and tried his best to process this rather disturbing information. Episode 4 began with a man-eater entering the ship and terrorizing everyone inside it. It was only natural for Maru and Kiruko to make the decision to take matters into their own hands. They demonstrated a high level of intelligence when they let the man-eater on board the ship. She realized that it relied on creating a shell of water around it to maneuver on land. Kiruko then led it straight to the place where a ton of marijuana was kept. Due to the fact that the plant possesses the ability to absorb, the man-eater dried up right away after losing its water shell. Maru used his unique abilities to successfully put an end to the creature. Koko asked Tokyo to follow her. She then led Tokyo to a location that was close to the wall. She leaped up with ease and her feet and hand were glued to the wall. She was able to climb the wall with just her hands, confirming that each student in the facility has a specific set of skills. Tokyo utilized a device that allowed her to scale the wall with ease. The two then entered a set of vents that led to a room where they climbed down and observed a set of odd-looking creatures that were incubating. Tokyo was mesmerized by it, but an alert was sent out in the intercom, which led to the two escaping back into the vents. The weird thing about this scene was that the team monitoring the CCTV footage was unable to see the intruders. This phenomenon was probably connected to the time Shiro received explicit images and Tokyo received an odd message during her test. Following this scene transitioned to Shiro confronting mimihime and asking her about the explicit images. She revealed that she hadn't sent any pictures to him, after which he proceeded to have a conversation about his urges.
Take you